Just a few weeks ago, we were talking about what if the unlock method for Apocalypse is just Dark Dimension 6, where you had to take all of the horsemen and their respective teams to gear tier 17, and they have to play in their own nodes to get Apocalypse. Well, more or less, that's what this is, but there's a lot of other twists and turns and upgraded abilities. I think it's pretty interesting. So we're going to go and talk about Sagas and awakened abilities. And this does make sense with awakened abilities. They're talking about modifying Rogue and Morgan Le Fay based on Apocalypse. And they're also going to have costumes so that they're going to look different. The next chapter of the road to Apocalypse has been revealed, Sagas. This is a new game mode where you'll play through an exciting story of Apocalypse, bestowing gifts to each of the four horsemen and completing their ceremonious transformation into his devoted disciples. Excuse me. Please note that the details shared in this post are subject to change prior to release. And then this is very interesting. It shows that basically they're going to have like extra abilities, and they talk a little bit about the extra abilities on Morgan Le Fay in this post. There will be 5 sagas in total that require the horsemen and their respective teams in order to participate, with some additional requirements for the final saga. Each saga is expected to be released after the second run of each Horseman Scourge event. Okay. Unlike Scourge events, which run for a limited time, sagas will be a permanent addition to the new Epic Campaign section coming up in version 6.3, where Dark Dimension will also be accessible going forward. Also in 6.3, they confirm that we're going to have gear tier 17, and there's going to be 3 different difficulties on these sagas. Let's get going. Requirements. Here's some of the requirements for each of the sagas, with some of the requirements being announced in the future. Pestilence sagas, Morgan Le Fay, and 4 Darkhold characters. And let's not forget that Scarlet Witch is a Darkhold character. And, basically, we're going to have to eventually take her all the way up to gear tier 17. Famine Saga, and Rogue, and 4 unlimited X-Men characters. So then again, Phantom X, is in there. War, which will be disclosed later, as well as Death. And then for the Apocalypse Saga, all 4 horsemen, their respective teams, and several additional characters. All right. Multiple difficulties. Each saga is expected to have 5 nodes, and there's no persistent damage between battles. There will be 3 levels of difficulties and requirements for each saga. And then basically, for the 4 Horsemen Saga specifically, there's the gear tier requirements. Gear tier 17 will be coming in version 6.3. We're going to get more information on Friday's blog about that. Difficulty 1, gear tier 13. Difficulty 2, tier 15. Difficulty 3 will require gear tier 17. So, boy, I'm going to have to take my Scarlet Witch to gear tier 17. The 5th and final Apocalypse Saga will have another layer of depth with different gear and ISO requirements, which will be announced in the future. Additionally, to enter the final Apocalypse Saga, you must have completed all of the 4 Horseman Sagas, at least on difficulty 1. To participate in the Apocalypse Saga on difficulty 2, you must first complete all the 4 Horseman Sagas on difficulty 2. To participate in the Apocalypse Saga on difficulty 3, you must first complete all of the 4 Horseman Sagas in difficulty 3. So what I'm expecting is that we're going to get Morgan Le Fay's second Scourge event to run around. Then we'll get her Apocalypse Saga, but we'll only be able to do it on difficulty 1. And difficulty 1 will require gear tier 13 on the characters. All right. Rewards. The gifts of En Sabah Nur are fit for a pharaoh. Some of the rewards available in the various difficulties include orange gear, gold, armor 16 orb fragments, and ISO blue materials. Additionally, there are 2 types of rewards that will be exclusive to each of the sagas, and a third reward type that is very rare. They are awakened abilities, horseman costumes, and some very little amount of access to ISO 8 blue level 5 ions and crystals. We're going to get to that here in a minute. Awakened abilities. Now, this kind of fits with the lore. of Apocalypse. Bestow gifts upon each of the horsemen, granting them even greater power and unlocking new synergies with their fellow horsemen and even Apocalypse himself. Awakened abilities are augmented to one or more of the character's existing 4 abilities. Similar to normal abilities, awakened abilities will also require materials to unlock and upgrade them. So right now, maxed out, it is like 7775. So they're going to refer to them as level 8 and level 6. And level 6 would be for the passive. But they only be used for specific characters and abilities. You earn these awakened ability materials as you progress through a character's related saga. For example, the Pestilent Saga will be the only place to earn materials for the Pestilent Horseman, Morgan Le Fay. So there they show the node right there. It's going to have 5 stages. It's going to have 3 difficulties. We're probably only going to be able to tackle the first difficulty because it looks like you have to go through all of them to get it. As a preview to the new powers that'll be at control, gaze upon the awakened abilities of Morgan Le Fay. Time Warp at the new level 8 will gain a buy speed up for 2 turns, immunity for 1 turn to self, an Apocalypse ally, all Darkhold allies, and all Horseman allies. So basically, this ability now will affect Rogue, right? When you get this all set up. Fey Queen at level 6 will gain in bold. So basically, this is the way it is right now. And then it's going to add Apocalypse and all Horseman allies gain 50% max health. Currently, the way it reads is that you get this right here. Darkhold allies get 100% resistance. It'll be modified to say Apocalypse and all Horseman allies as well will gain that resistance. So basically, it's just like this is level 8. So we'll be able to go to like level 8 on this ability right now. It's capped at 7. This is the passive, which is capped at level 5. We'll be able to go to level 6. Okay, new costumes. And this is a little bit controversial. The costume on her headpiece looks a little bit weird to me, but maybe it has something to do with Wolverine. I'm not sure. In order to finally unlock Apocalypse, the full transformation of the 4 horsemen must be complete. This will only be achieved once you have completed difficulty 3 of the Horseman Sagas, thus unlocking the new variant costumes for each of them. These exclusive versions are designed to be visually coordinated with the new team's look on the battlefield. Available first will be Morgan Le Fay's Wicked New Threads. There you go. I like the look. Feels good, except for whatever's going there on it coming out, looks like Wolverine's coming out of her forehead. I don't know. It's kind of strange. You'll need to complete Apocalypse difficulty in the Pestilence Saga to unlock the costume for Morgan Le Fay. Now, here's a little bit of information about ISO Blue Level 5. It looks like it's going to be very exclusive, and we're basically only going to have enough materials to upgrade the Horsemen and maybe one other character per each one of these type of deals. ISO 8 Blue Level 5 brings significant stat buffs and powerful new mechanics. The Horseman Sagas will be a great place to pick up some of these coveted new resources. All right, so there they go. They show it all right there. Morgan Le Fay Skirmisher, who would have thought? Each Horseman Saga difficulty 3 will have enough ISO 8 Blue Level 5 ions and prefused crystals to promote the related Horseman character from level 3 to level 5. Additionally, fully clearing difficulty 3 will grant enough ions to fuse the crystals and promote another character from ISO 8 Green Level 5 to Blue Level 5. So basically, just enough to do the Horseman and one additional character. You'll need those characters and have class levels for difficulty 3 of the final Apocalypse Saga, as will be require all the following characters to be equipped with ISO Blue Level 5. Wow. And basically be level 17, gear tier 17. The 4 horsemen, the teams for each of the horsemen, 16 characters, several strike characters to be announced. So again, kind of feels like Dark Dimension 6, but in addition to being gear tier 17, you also need those crystals and class difficulties for difficulty 3 of the final Apocalypse, as required for all of the following characters to be equipped with ISO 8 Blue Level 5. So that's going to be an additional requirement to this Apocalypse event, which loosely feels like Dark Dimension 6 going to require Blue ISO 5. All right, so that's going to be a lot of work for sure. The more exciting announcement recording these things will lead up to the thrilling final Apocalypse Saga with the forthcoming on the website, so check back for updates. So that is going to be very interesting how this plays out. But yeah, basically what we thought a couple weeks ago is exactly happening. I wonder if Rogue having a 2-turn cooldown on her special is a part of her modified ability for the Horseman. Boy, that would be kind of scary if that is it. We'll have to see. What do you think? It's going to be challenging. I do want to say this. I feel like they were relatively generous with giving out with the Morgan Le Fay and the Rogue events as far as number of players able to get the character the first time around. Much higher than, let's say, the legendary event for Omega Red, right? And I think it's no surprise that it's going to get more and more difficult and perhaps insanely difficult to get Apocalypse. It almost feels like, Dormammu, where, a couple people got him very quickly and then nobody got him for like 6 months, or a lot of people still don't have Dormammu. And then the other question that keeps coming up is like, well, gear tier 17, that's crazy, right? Are they going to loosen up gear tier 16? I don't know. My hope is that they start opening up some of the catalysts in the orange. I feel like that in the next 3 months or so, we should have more access to orange catalysts. But I personally feel like if they keep, in the Scopely way of things, it'll still be super hard to get characters to 16, let alone 17. I don't see the teal gear being loosened up. I believe they have to loosen up the orange gear, specifically the catalysts, before that happens. Hopefully that does, because purple gear now is more accessible than it's ever been, and hopefully orange gear will be as well. All right, let me know what you think in the comment section, and as always, thanks for watching, and keep on gaming.